What if I told you that right now, as you're watching this, there are small towns across America that will literally hand you land for free just to convince anyone, to move there, not the fake kind of free where you spend hundreds of thousands on a house and they throw in a welcome mat or a useless stone for the yard. This is real land that you can legally claim, build on, and turn into your own quiet escape from the noise of modern life. And yes, probably make a few questionable DIY choices along the way. These places are so empty, so overlooked, and so painfully quiet that they're practically shouting into the open plains, begging someone to show up. Please take this land, please live here. All we can offer is space, silence, and the occasional tumbleweed rolling by like it's part of the local culture. And here's the crazy part, most people have no idea these programs still exist, but you're about to find out. Before we start digging through America's real estate clearance aisle, also known as land that towns are desperate to give away, tap the like button, because freedom doesn't come with a price tag. The algorithm, however, survives on attention, and subscribe if you want more stories about hidden corners of America where people are still building lives powered by solar panels, rainwater, and pure stubborn independence. If you don't do it, I'll relocate you to a town where the Wi-Fi password is written in Roman numerals and only connects during a full moon. Here's the good news: scattered across the Midwest and even beyond it are towns that are so underpopulated, so calm, and so openly begging for fresh life that they are legally giving away land right now. No cults, no buffalo milking rituals required. These are not remote survival zones where you wrestle bears for internet access. These are real American towns, quiet, a little strange, and beautifully stuck in time, places where an off-grid cabin might honestly be the most exciting development the locals have talked about in 10 years. So let's begin in the north with a town where the silence runs so deep you can hear your own thoughts, including the ones you've been skillfully avoiding. If you've ever wondered what it would feel like to live inside a postcard from quiet northern America, New Richland, Minnesota is exactly that postcard, just with fewer people and a lot more wind. This is the kind of town where the loudest sound you'll hear all day is a squirrel dropping a pine cone, and even that might qualify as breaking news. New Richland sits in southern Minnesota, surrounded by lakes, open fields, and forests that look like they were designed by someone who only listens to folk music in winter. The scenery becomes a calm, frozen painting in summer. Everything turns soft green with sunsets that take their time. It's peaceful, almost suspiciously peaceful, and right now the town is offering free residential lots, real buildable lots, to people willing to construct a home within a set time frame. The land itself costs nothing. What you do cover are utilities and infrastructure, things like streets, sewer, and water hookups. Think of it as getting a free. Even with that, it's an unreal deal by modern American standards. What makes this place interesting is the off-grid potential. You're not deep in the wilderness living off emergency rations, but you can live quietly, grow food, install solar, raise chickens, and slowly convince yourself you're the main character in a Scandinavian minimalism documentary. If your dream includes a small cabin, a wood stove, and a garden that brings equal parts joy and disappointment, New Richland is absolutely ready for you. But now we need to address the Minnesota-sized elephant in the room. Winter here is not a season, it is a full commitment. The wind does not politely pass by, it smacks you awake. The snow does not fall gently, it attempts to move into your house, and at least once you will stare into the distance and question every choice that brought you here. That said, this is also where the magic is. Winter builds character, patience, and surprisingly powerful legs. The town itself is small, welcoming, and the kind of place where the grocery cashier knows your name by your second visit, whether you wanted that level of familiarity or not. New Richland feels like hitting a reset button, a place where life slows down, silence has value, and building a future does not require billionaire money or a mortgage document the size of a novel. But maybe cold is not your thing. Maybe you want warmth, sunshine, and a climate where winter does not actively try to eliminate you. Fair enough, let's go south, very far south, all the way to Texas. If New Richland feels like a quiet Scandinavian postcard, La Villa, Texas is its wild opposite, a sun-soaked border town daydream where the air stays warm, the sky feels endless, and the horizon looks stretched beyond reason. La Villa sits deep in the Rio Grande Valley, so far south that one strong sneeze might put you in a different climate entirely. Palm trees sway in the heat, roosters function as unpaid alarm clocks, and sunsets look like someone spilled orange paint across the sky. Now here is the surprise: La Villa offers land for almost nothing. Some lots go for a symbolic $100 through special incentive programs meant to attract new families in Texas terms that translates to please take this land before we reconsider. It is a small simple community, a school, a church, a handful of local shops and neighbors who wave from impressive distances because personal space does not really exist here. The town is calm, rural, and so relaxed that even chaos seems too shy to show up. For off-grid living, La Villa delivers. The land is flat, sunny, and perfect for solar gardens. Grow year-round, chickens thrive like they are building a corporate empire, and you can create the kind of simple life that makes your city friends quietly panic about their choices. But this is Texas, so we need to talk about heat, the kind of heat that does not stay outside. It follows you into your car, into your house, and into the shower, and then politely asks if you have accepted water as your new religion. The humidity feels like being hugged by a warm, invisible jellyfish at all times. Still, the people here are tough, resourceful, and genuinely friendly. The cost of living is low, the pace of life is slow, and if your dream is sunshine, silence, and a piece of land that finally belongs to you, La Villa checks every box. But chaos doesn't mean misery. Buffalo has real character, historic buildings that seem to have survived centuries purely out of stubborn pride, a food scene powered by wings, beef on weck, and the belief that calories are optional, and people who will help push your car out of a snowbank even if you absolutely parked like a fool. Off-grid potential: surprisingly solid lots are cheap, rules are manageable, and there's real opportunity for urban homesteading, small-scale renovations, DIY solar setups, and creative rebuilds, especially in quieter neighborhoods. Buffalo isn't silent, but it is resilient, affordable, and packed with possibility. It's the chaotic good member of this lineup of free land towns. But maybe you're thinking, I love the idea of land, but can we go back to something calmer? Prairie calm, minus the tornado drama? Perfect. Let's return to Kansas, to a little town pleasantly frozen in time. Next stop, Marquette, Kansas. If Buffalo was a snow-fueled roller coaster, Marquette is like stepping into a warm, slow-motion documentary on small-town America, narrated by someone with a soothing voice and a deep appreciation for sunsets. Marquette sits right in the heart of Kansas, surrounded by golden fields, gentle hills, and skies so wide they look like they were left on default settings. This is a place where the air feels softer, the pace feels slower, and the loudest sound of the day might be a screen door closing. And here's the kicker: Marquette is offering free residential lots through its Westridge program. Yes, completely free, the kind of free that makes you do a double take until you realize the town just wants more residents, more kids in school, and maybe someone to finally reopen the local coffee shop. Build within the required time frame, follow a few simple rules, and suddenly your land costs nothing. It's like Black Friday but with dirt instead of appliances. For off-grid enthusiasts, Marquette is a dream on training wheels. You're not in the wilderness, but the land is open, neighbors are pleasantly distant, and nobody will knock asking why your chicken coop doesn't match the neighborhood aesthetic. Solar is perfect, gardens thrive. Rainwater systems? Absolutely, just check local codes first so you don't shock the city clerk. The vibe here is wholesome. People wave across the street like you've known them forever. The grocery store cashier remembers your name, your dog's name, and probably the dog's favorite treat. Time here doesn't fly, it meanders. Now realistically, this is Kansas. The wind is assertive, it will rearrange your hair, your porch furniture, and occasionally your perspective, and while Marquette itself is peace. This town rests near Johnson Lake, surrounded by calm waters, gentle hills, and enough open space to convince your mind that everything is finally going to be okay. Elmwood looks like the perfect setting for a small-town novel where the worst trouble might be a goose stealing someone's sandwich. It's peaceful, tidy, and charming in that classic pre-smartphone American way. People take evening walks, kids ride bikes, and sunsets feel like the sky itself is apologizing for the day. And yes, the rumors are true. Elmwood is offering free residential lots, completely free, no hidden $20,000 fees, no signing up for newsletters and sacrificing your sanity. There's just one simple requirement: build a home within the given time frame. You place a small $500 deposit, which is returned when your house is completed. Follow basic guidelines, and the land is yours. And here's a bonus: Elmwood will even cover up to 10% of your construction costs. Apparently, Midwestern generosity is a tangible economic force. Off-grid potential is stronger than you might expect. Elmwood may be a town, but life here moves slow, self-reliant, and deeply practical. You can install solar panels, garden like you're auditioning for a homesteading show, raise chickens, fix things with duct tape, collect rainwater within reason, and enjoy a level of peace that might make your phone battery last 3 days. Of course, rural Nebraska has its quirks. The wind has ambitions. Sometimes it rearranges your hair, your trash, and occasionally your sense of direction. Winter arrives with enthusiasm, and at least once a year you'll stand outside wondering, was that thunder or my neighbor's truck? But the charm is undeniable. Elmwood feels like a soft landing, a place where the world is quiet enough to hear your own footsteps and plan a life free from debt, noise, and HOA emails about grass violations. But maybe you want even more simplicity, more fields, more quiet, something that feels like the heart of the Midwest turned into a town. Perfect. Let's head to really small, the kind of place where the welcome sign might as well read population, us. And maybe you if you're nice, but what it lacks in size it more than makes up for in heart, and in one of the most generous offers around: free residential lots through the Sunrise Edition program. Yes, free land again, and this time with a bonus. New residents can qualify for tax abatements that drastically reduce property taxes during their first years of living there. Move in, build your home, keep more of your money instead of sending it off to the invisible, bureaucratic void. For off-grid seekers, Manila is basically a starter kit for quiet living. You're not lost in the wilderness, but you are surrounded by open land, friendly neighbors, and more sunlight than you could ever need to power your cabin. And maybe even your neighbor's 2 chickens? No problem gardens? The soil is forgiving enough, it might as well apologize if your tomatoes don't thrive. Life here moves at a different pace. People wave from their porches, kids ride bikes like it's 1994, and if your car breaks down, 3 different strangers will appear before you even pop the hood, not because they're nosy but because it's Iowa, and that's just how life works. Of course, Iowa weather has opinions. Winter comes with attitude. Summer brings humidity that hugs you like an overenthusiastic relative, and the wind? Well, it's the Midwest. It always has plans. Still, Manila offers something rare: pure, uncomplicated calm, a place to start fresh without noise, pressure, or a mortgage that haunts you. Manila isn't flashy, it isn't dramatic, it is simply peaceful, and sometimes that's the greatest luxury a town can offer. Now that we've explored all 7 towns, it's time to zoom out. What do they mean? These towns may be tiny points on a map scattered across the Midwest and quiet corners of America, but their message is bigger than their size, a reminder that this country is still wide open, still full of places where life hasn't been rushed, packaged, or priced. In a world that feels louder, faster, more demanding, these towns remain almost unchanged, not because they're stuck in the past, but because they've held on to something the rest of America has misplaced: space, space to breathe, space to build, space to begin again without noise or permission. The free land they offer isn't just dirt, it's an invitation to simplicity, to stillness, to a way of living measured not by deadlines or traffic, but by seasoned sunlight and the quiet rhythm of a place that asks very little from you. That's why these towns matter. Somewhere between crowded cities and rising costs, we lost the idea that an ordinary person could carve out a small piece of the world and call it home, but here that possibility still exists, waiting for someone ready to start over, someone seeking less noise and more life. If any of these towns made you pause even for a second, maybe that pause means something. Maybe it's the start of a thought you haven't fully voiced yet, a thought about change, about simplicity, about choosing a life that feels more like living and less like surviving. And if you want to keep exploring places like this, the quiet corners, the overlooked regions, the parts of America that still offer space, freedom, and possibility, make sure to subscribe. There are still hidden towns, forgotten counties, unexpected opportunities waiting out there, and we're just getting started. When you're ready, the next video will take you deeper into parts of America almost no one talks about, regions where off-grid living, low-cost land, and true independence exist quietly, stubbornly, beautifully. Wherever you choose to go next, a new town, a new chapter, or just the next video, I'll see you there.